Hi everybody, it's Dr. Kenja Sabri. This video today is going to be about tips to become an HIM adjunct. So I hope that you enjoy and you find my tips to be helpful. Okay, so my first tip is going to be the teaching resume, aka the CV. If you find that you want to become an adjunct and you have no teaching experience, the first thing that you want to do is tailor your resume to look like you teach, right? Or to pull out those concepts to show that you have teaching experience. Whether people have trained with you before or you taught something specific, make sure that's highlighted. Make sure your objective clearly states that your intentions are to educate others. So once you get into academia, you'll realize that we tend not to use resumes anymore, and you want to convert your resume into a CV, capturing all of the things that you've done as an educator, the conferences you've attended, the presentations, any training should all be captured on your CV. Next, I'm going to say start at home. So when I say at home, I don't mean remote all. I mean start in your community. Look at your local community or state college, or look at your technical school, your local technical school. Check there for vacancies. If you don't see any vacancies there, or if you're unable to talk to the faculty there, then look outside of your area. Okay, so my next tip is for you to know what's out there. When I say that, I'm specifically referring to private schools. Not to say that anything is wrong with private schools. I do want to say that their intentions or their practices may be a little bit different. So I want you to keep that in mind. If you are searching online for a teaching position and you decide or you encounter a private school, don't take it just because it's going to get your foot in the door. Ask questions, know the expectations, make sure that that school aligns with your values, because you might get into a school and you might find that their practices on how they recruit students may not, you may not agree with them. Or something that I learned when I first started teaching, um, I ended up at a private school, and gosh, where am I going with this story? Um, First of all, I learned that they were marketing the HIT program to their students, but the program wasn't accredited yet. And they weren't transparent about that information. Whenever students would ask about accreditation, they would state that the school is accredited, right? Oh, yes, we're accredited by X, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the program is accredited. So, um, since then, or since I left there, I made it a point to not teach for any program that wasn't KHIM accredited. So that just made me think of another tip that I will give toward the end. All right, review the curriculum. Review the curriculum is my next tip. Uh-oh, it looks like it jumped on me a little bit. So it's fine. Review the curriculum in advance because you want to know what the curriculum is made up of and which courses you are comfortable or available to teach. So take the time to go on the website, see what courses are out there, and just kind of, print it out or put a star next to it. That way, if you are given an interview, one, it shows that you did your research, and two, it shows that you've already thought about in advance how you can contribute to that program. Okay, so my next tip is already on the screen. Ask questions. So when I say ask questions, Ask questions. This can be during the interview or if you have a chance to speak with faculty before your interview. Ask questions about expectations, about duties, and about pay because all of those are important. And specifically, when I say about duties, sometimes I've taught at a school where the curriculum was not ready for me. So I had to develop the entire class and teach the entire class. Be aware of that. That's not normal practice. Um, so, if you find that you have to contribute in that way, make sure it's outlined in a contract. Make sure you have the deadlines. Make sure that you are compensated separately for course development um, versus your teaching, because that's important. Okay. Next, okay, take the training seriously. Sometimes I find that people will start adjuncting and they won't take the training seriously, or they'll take the training enough to get through the training, but then they bring all of the questions back to the department. And you want to say, well, you covered this in orientation or you covered this in the training. The training is there for a reason. So make sure you go through the training. Make sure you teach notes because truthfully, you have no teaching experience, right? So let's not pretend, yes, 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 I know it, I get it. Just do the training, take it serious, take notes because it's going to help you be a better adjunct. All right, so tip number 7, engage. So, this is specifically, I want to say, once you're hired, remember to engage not only with the department, but the organization and your students. So, when I say the organization, immerse yourself in the culture of the organization. If they have events, show up to those events. If they have adjunct days or days where they put on additional training, show up, take advantage, show that you're a part of the community. The same thing when it comes to the department. Show up to those department meetings, get to know your faculty, your program director, and then while you're in the classroom, be sure to engage with your students. I like for my students to understand that there's a person behind the computer, right? We're not robots. So communicate with them, be engaged, and show that you're not just collecting a paycheck. Okay, so my eighth tip is to be flexible. So, this is in general, whether you are in the classroom or outside of the classroom. Sometimes, as a program director, we find that we have to make changes to the schedule last minute, or a class may fill up and we have to add another one on the schedule. Things can change really fast and you may need to adjust, like I said, in or outside of the classroom. So be open to the possibilities. Make sure that you're checking your email frequently so that you're able to receive this communication and be flexible. Yeah, just be able to receive this communication and be able to help the department when it needs it. All right. So, my ninth tip is you are hired to teach, not to facilitate. So, what that means is you want to make sure that you can connect with your students and you could also teach them the things that they're not getting. So, you're not hired as an adjunct to just check your email or to just route students somewhere. Your goal is really to help them understand the content. My blood boils when my students or when I hear students say, I'm teaching myself the material, right? But first of all, it's not your fault. Know that it's not your fault. I say they're not teaching themselves because they didn't create the content, right? It's not their learning management system. You put all these things in place for them to use for them to learn. However, we have to be conscious when teaching because not everybody learns the same way. So if somebody's reaching out for help, really try to understand what their needs are. Get on a call with them if they're having trouble understanding you via email, but show that you're there to help them understand, and you're just not leaving them to figure things out on their own. So, the last tip that I had that I thought of earlier was if you do not find adjunct opportunities in your community and you want to look for KHIM accredited programs, be sure to go to the CAHIM website, CAHIIM.org. Look at the program directory. You'll see all of the accredited associate, bachelor's, and master's programs. Start there. Start there, and then you can look for opportunities there. So, I hope that you found these tips to be helpful. If you have any questions, be sure to drop your comments below and reach out to me. I appreciate you watching. To learn more about the qualified, visit us online at www.the-qualified.com.